for clarity's sake, as you can see, what we have up there, we have the market price, and this is how the market price, how it looks like. So you can see we have market, then we have order value. So because of the pair we're in, so we can either click this drop down, the USDT, then we'll have order by quantity, which you have your atom here, then we'll have order by value in USDT. So what we'll be working with is order by value, which is USDT, because USDT is a stable coin, so it's quite easy to do some calculation with the USDT. So we click on order by value USDT. Then the way it works now, we're done with markets. So we'll click the drop down. Then just to show you guys how limit works, we click on limit. So this what limit looks like. We have the limit up here, we have order price, and we have order value. This Atom slash USDT. So I might send a signal, a limit order for Atom slash USDT at a price of, let's say, 4.7. So basically what this 4.7 means, as you can see, the current price of the Atom here is 4.603. So definitely the trade won't trigger because it's not up to your 4.7 here. So once you click the 4.7 as your limit and you click buy long or sell shorts, the trade won't activate immediately. Why? Because it hasn't gotten to the price we set it at, which is the 4.7. So I think that's what you guys need to know about limit price. Then we have order value. Now this way, you guys need to be very attentive, so we don't what's the term, so we don't use most of our portfolio to enter a trade. Like we don't get to use 80% or 90% of our portfolio. So as you can see, this drag down, this is percentage. It's a percentage. So this 25%, 50%, 70%, 100%. So I would suggest, for the purpose of this class, we work with 10% of our capital. 10% of our capital. So if I put 10%, you can see it's on 10%. So this is the simple calculation. On how to get this 18.8764, the way it works. So I clicked on 10%. 10% here. So 10% of 10 USDT, that's 1. 10 comes with 10. Simple mathematics, 1. Then our leverage is 20x. So that 1 that you got from the 10% of your capital, that's 10 over 10, which is 1. Then multiplied by your leverage, your 20x. What you need to understand about leverage trading, or also known as futures, is simply multiplication. There's spot and there's leverage. Leverage is simply spot multiplication by the amount of leverage you set. So yeah, since we're working with 20x, I'll suggest you work with 10% of our portfolio. So you do 10% of your portfolio. Here I have 10 USDT, so 10 over 10, which is 1. Then our leverage 20x is not meant to be 18.8. From the mathematics, it's supposed to be 20. Now if you put 20, as you can see, my available balance here is 10 USDT and 20 USDT. It doesn't work that way. Like 20 is more than 10. You get, but since it has to do with futures, so future gives you the opportunity to trade with a larger amount of money. That's what future trading is just all about. It gives you the advantage, like it just shows you how it feels like to trade with big money. Big money. So what the amount we are trading with is just simply 10% off. So initially, what we'll be working with, the amount we'll be entering with the trade with is 1 USDT. But all thanks to leverage trading, we'll be trading with 20 USDT and not the 1 USDT. After I've sent the video, if you have questions, you can feel free to ask. But what you need to know is that futures trading gives you the feel, like you get to understand how it's you get to understand how it feels like to trade with huge amounts of money. So without leverage, if you were to use spot, 10% of your capital, so 10% of my 10 USDT will be 1 USDT, and I don't know, you really can't use 1 USDT to trade because I don't think the profit will be worth it. But with leverage trading, with futures trading, instead of trading with that $1, you're trading with $20. With $20. Now, remember what I said about leverage trading? Like your leverage, you have to do risks. So now this 20x now, assuming we were to move from this 20x to 50x to 50x. So that percentage we are going to work with is going to change. So if we are still working with the 10% of our capital, so that's 10 over 10, which is 1, then the 50x. So with your 10%, so 10% here, you'll be trading with 46, which approximately is $50. Because your 10 over 10, or 10% of your available capital, 10 over 10 is 1, then multiplied by the 50x, you'll be getting 46, or rather $50. So I'm sure you guys understand, you've gotten to understand how the leverage works, how it works. So that's all you need to know about leverage. So to be on the safe side, we shifted back to our 20x. Please, before you enter a trade, always try to make sure it's on 20x, because at times, if we were to change the pair, like for example now, we click on this Atom USDT, we click on it, and maybe we'll go to BTC. You can see the leverage into 100x. Like you wouldn't want to trade 100x. So you just take it back to your 20. Any limit, any pair will send, any signal will send, always try to check out the leverage. So you put it. You can see this one here. High leverage increases liquidation risks. You don't want to be liquidated easily, so you just put it at your 20x. You save. So I think that's all you need to know about limits. I've explained order price. I've explained order value. Order value, always make sure, if you want to toggle, always make sure it's on 10%. 10%, and always on 20x. Always on 20x. Then if you don't understand, there's another thing you need to always look out for also. Let's go back to our Atom. Yeah, this is a search bar. This way is search for the signals we'll be sending, the crypto pairs. You just go in and type. If it's Solana, you type Sol. You see it. You go to USDT Perpetual, you go to Sol. But since we're initially working with Atom, so you go to Atom and we'll click on USDT Perpetual. We have spots. So USDT Perpetual is simply the futures trading we'll be dealing with. So you go to Atom USDT. So you see, so our 20, our 10%, the 20x. So click on 20, as you can see. If you look here clearly, you see with our 20 USDT here, we have quantity. Don't be bothered about the atom. Just for calculation's sake, we work with your USDT. So as you can see, we have cost. You have your 1 USDT, which is 10% of your available capital. 10 over 10, you have your 1. So that's the 1 you get to see here. But all thanks to the 20x, they multiply it and you have 20 USDT. You're basically trading with 20 USDT. And if it's 50, it changes. As you can see, if you change it to your 10%, as you can see, with 50, you have your cost. You have your cost 10 over 10, 1 times 50. You have your 50 USDT here. Then you have your cost. You can see it's still $1, but higher leverage. And this 50x, you had to stand the risks of getting liquidated easily. So instead of working with this 50x and this 50, because if you look, this 50 USDT, it's actually less. So just to be on the safe side and survive the risks of blowing your account, you work with our 10% here. Or you can do the calculation yourself, because this 46 doesn't really make sense. So you can see the cost 0.97. Work with round figures here. So you just go to your 50, impute your 50, and you have your 1.04 USDT. So we change that, go from the 50x back to our 20x. So that'll be all for this video.